come back from ranch with short cloud burst. Really? Wow. Wow. Did it mess you up any with the farmers? Oh, okay.
Recording in progress.
Yeah, no, our country, we go out to like 5, 6 years, stuff like that. So, another thing is, maybe other stuff, I don't know, but definitely.
Well, we can get started and do non. You know what? We're in council. No. Okay, so this is what we'd like to do. It was this pleasure of the board. We're going to start a roll call, and we are going to do it. And then we're going to do a little calculation, and then we can have an agency report.
Okay, and then
Yeah, the PEC, sir, yeah, that's fine.
That's it. We'll do that. Okay.
Okay.
It's 5 o'clock, so we'll call the meeting to order. And we can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Sergio, could you lead us in the pledge?
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, from there we will go to the roll call and we can make an adjustment later. Hey, and
There we go. Perfect timing. Commissioner Odessa. Okay. Commissioner Scagliotti. Commissioner Groling.
Present.
Commissioner McCullough.
Present.
Commissioner Garcia. Commissioner Nino. Present. Seeing all accounted for, except for Commissioner Castro. Okay. From there, we will go on to approve the certificate of posting. Can I have a motion to approve the certificate of posting?
I seconded.
We have a first and we have a second by Robert. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the certificate of posting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We'll go to public comment. Is there any public comment in the room or via available Zoom?
If you'd like to make a comment on Zoom, you can press *9 or the raise hand icon. No one in chambers, no comments.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. From there, we will go to the regular agenda. And on the regular agenda, if you have that in front of you, would like a motion to approve the minutes of January 22nd, 2024. By the way, thank you very much for being here, everybody. As you see, our last meeting was January 22nd for the back of the forum. And this is a great turnout tonight. And hopefully we can get a few more people on the commission so that we can be able to have a regular scheduled meeting. I really appreciate everybody being here. So I just wanted to make that comment. And with that, could we have can we have a motion to approve the minutes of January 2nd? So we have the first, Commissioner Scagliotti, and a second by Commissioner Garcia. Is there any discussion? I have discussion. And my discussion is that Vanessa did a beautiful job on it. There's a lot of detail to it, and I really appreciated the accuracy. And that was 8 months and 10 months ago or whatever it was, and a lot of items I had forgotten, and you just did a beautiful job. And so thank you for that, Vanessa. Always been so helpful for all of us. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes as stated, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, from there, we will go to the budget report. And we will receive the budget report on the status of the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget, an update on the funds and revenues. And that's item 4B on your agenda, if you're keeping track.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ramon Aban. I'm the County Budget Officer, and it's good to see you all again. I was here a year ago, a little over a year ago, and the commission had asked a couple of questions as far as this budget performance report. Some of the questions that came up last time I was here were regarding the history of the cash, so I did a little bit of research on how the Fish and Game Fund receives revenues and how that cash is reported in the financial system. And basically what I found was most of the revenues, if you see on this report, we have fines, forfeitures, and penalties. It's that account 520.501. The actuals for that item are on the right-hand column where it says prior year total. And in the current report, what we're seeing is a budget for the current fiscal year. And this is actually a rollover budget.
Sir, I'm sorry. Can I excuse my rudeness, please? Perhaps it's just me. I don't have a copy of that report, and I'm thinking that other commissioners may not as well. And if you do not, I was just hoping if Vanessa maybe could print out six of them for us. or put it on the screen so we can stick with you right now. And we'll try to ask more intelligent questions after we look at it on the screen. So thank you, and sorry for the interruption.
Actually, it was appropriate. I didn't realize it was not on the screen.
Okay. Vanessa, I wonder, I do. I'm sorry to be such a bother. That's not gonna do it for me. Maybe the other side, is that better?
No.
But I'm not gonna make too much out of that. So sorry about that, Vanessa. Thank you. Okay, and you can proceed. It's more from a spaceship level than a helicopter level as far as where the money comes from theoretically, and not so much a dollars and cents, since we can't see that from our vantage point.
Okay. So, as the fines, forfeitures, and penalties, I'll start by going over the budget performance report. So this report, all it does is show the commission what the budget is for the current fiscal year, and it's actually a rollover budget. And what that means is, when I started as budget officer, I made a copy of the prior fiscal year, and that just kind of stuck. And when I was doing the research, I noticed that the average for that specific account, fines, forfeitures, and penalties, the average over about 10 years has actually been about $250. So I think it's appropriate to have that budget, even though in the most recent fiscal years, this fund is not receiving $250. So I kept it that way just in case. And the way these revenues get recorded in the financial system are through an accounting journal that is prepared by the Auditor Controller's Office. And what I noticed is that what the Auditor Controller's Office does is a reconciliation of a separate fund, which is called the Courts Trust Fund. And so the county has a trust fund where a lot of penalties are recorded through the court system, and once a fiscal year, the Auditor Controller's Office, they do a reconciliation of all those fines and different court issued, penalties, fines, forfeitures, and penalties, and then all they do is move funding from the court trust fund into the fish and game fund. And so that's pretty much the history of how this came to be. And right now, I know we don't have it on the screen, but I did check the funding in this account is about $4,800, and the only two invoices I was able to find in the last 10 years were one expense for, I believe, cameras that the commission approved back in 2019. I don't know if it's the same group of folks that are here. That was a $600 item. And then there was another invoice for about $589 for signs for no illegal dumping. And this was back in November of 2021. Again, if you remember, those are the only invoices. So as far as expenses, if we're looking at this budget performance report, the section that says services and supplies, we have a $1,000 budget right there. This allows the commission to use that funding or to use that budget in the current fiscal year if it's needed. And again, if we look at the right-hand column, it'll show you prior year totals. That'll let everybody know actual expenses from the previous fiscal year. And in this case, this fund had no expenses. Nothing was approved by the commission, so we don't see any expenses there. And then the other charges cost plan, that's something that the Auditor Controller, it's how they distribute costs for centralized departments such as the Auditor Controller, County Council, Information Technology, Administration. It's a very complicated calculation that they do. And for the Fish and Game Fund, the estimated cost for one entire fiscal year is $15. So that's all I have for the group. Are there any questions?
I might have more of a statement than a question. We asked last time for you to research that, and you did it. You put in the effort and the energy, and that's really cool. I really appreciate your effort, energy, and stick-to-itiveness to do that. And I have three different things, so that's one. Number two is you mentioned somewhere about $4,800, and maybe the other fellows did. I didn't get that. So there was a $4,800 number did mention.
The reason I threw out that number is to make the commission aware that there is a fund balance. So, for example, if we look at the report, even though the budget for fines, forfeitures, and penalties is $250, and we may not receive that in this fund,
Okay.
we have been receiving over the past 10, 15 years, on average, about $250
Okay.
per fiscal year. And so the prior year total, it shows $19.78. So that is the actual amount that was reported as part of the journal that the auditors do once a fiscal, I think they do it once a fiscal
Yeah.
year.
But there is an account with $4,800
Exactly.
dedicated to this.
To this group.
Okay.
So there is a fund balance of approximately $4,800 that can
Okay.
be used for, any appropriate things
see.
that are needed.
I see the sheriff's department's wheels are turning there. Thank you, and I'm going to ask you another question, and this is not under your purview, but there's no one else to ask, I don't think, so I'm going to ask you. On our last, and this is just an idea, on our minutes from 4C from last meeting, there in the minutes it says the current warden from Seminole County is out on leave, but the area still is covered and has been very busy with citations from hunting and fishing. So those citation amounts should be going in our 2024 fund, I suspect.
I would agree with that.
Okay, so hopefully those funds are being collected, and that's from the warden, I guess, that's not a sheriff's office issue. I don't believe that's a warden's issue. And Vanessa, would you have a comment on that? No, okay. So that might be something that we would ask the warden. I know that, like I said, I realize that's not under your purview. I don't suspect, but I didn't know what else to ask. Okay.
That's fine.
But when you talk about the citations, those are the citations, item 520.501, fines, forfeitures, and penalties, county other fines, the $19 that we got so far, that's where those should be going.
That's where they would land. And it would be something that the auditor controllers, what they do after they review the court's trust fund. My guess, without looking at the details, is that someone records transactions related to these hunting citations as an example. It goes into the court trust fund first, and then after the auditor controllers reviews a specific court's account, they call it the court reconciliation account.
Okay.
And so the auditor's office, they look at that division, and they move funding out of the court's trust fund and into the fish and game fund.
Okay. Appreciate your time very much. Is there anything else anything else for the good of the order? No? Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Okay. So from there, we need to approve the budget. Vanessa has
It's just receive information.
receive information, right? Okay, that's right. Thank you, Vanessa, for keeping me straight. Commissioner reports. Any comments, concerns, any commissioner reports? Any questions? Okay.
Do we have any?
No, those are from us. Commissioner reports are from us, and from then we'll go to agency reports. So if we had anything that we wanted to discuss or concerns, whatever. And this is not a report, I just want to throw it out there as things go forward. I've been on the commission for 3 years, or four, I can't remember, and there's been very few dollars awarded. We do have that $4,800. I'm not in favor of spending it recklessly, but maybe there is something, for example, those no dumping signs or whatever it was. You know, maybe there's something we should be keeping in mind and realizing that we do have some ability to do something, affect something. Maybe there is something in the sheriff's office or some agency we could do to help them in some way, or maybe even on the test trial run. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. Thank you. Okay, seeing no commissioner reports, we will go to agency reports.
Anyone from the agencies is in chambers, you can come up to the podium.
Sergeant, any questions? Sergeant Presser, could you tell us how the Sheriff's Department works in conjunction with our game warden? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sergeant Presser. Anything else for Sergeant Presser?
No, thank you very much for the report.
Thank you too.
And we have Brett Miller from the San Benito County Water District. You've been unmuted.
Thank you. Just also, for anybody else that speaks to the podium, make sure their mic's on because we can't hear anything on Zoom then. But I might be the only one on Zoom, so. So Brett Miller, interim manager of administration. Currently, our biggest news right now is we'll have a new general manager starting this Friday, November 1st. And that's, and then we continue to actually work on a program to capture excess water and put it back into our basin. We're working on that project and hopefully we'll have that up and running within about a year and a half. That's all I have to report.
Could you, the proposed pipeline going out to Tres Pinos that the San Benito County Water District is overseeing, could you give us a report on where, you know, to collect the various different water districts and more oversight and that sort of thing? Could you give us more?
The pipeline to Tres Pinos or the pipeline to San Juan Bautista?
The pipeline to Tres Pinos.
I don't have anything to report on that one right now. What I can do is gather that information and get back to you.
Okay, that would be very, very helpful.
I've only been with the district since end of July, so there's some things I'm still catching up on.
Okay, very good, thank you. How about, Hernandez Reservoir, could you give us an idea of how Hernandez Reservoir is looking as far as the amount of water it contains and your release schedule and that type of thing?
Yeah, actually, right now, we are replacing a valve in one, that releases the water, that was been faulty, and so that's our big item that we're working on right now, and waiting for the end of the rain, like that, what happened this afternoon. So that's the big thing that we're working on, and releases should start happening once it starts raining again.
Very good, thank you. The canal system that stretches from Hernandez Reservoir to Piscinas Reservoir, is there fish in that system, in that canal system or piping system? And so is a pipe and canals, I believe. But anyway, is there fish in that system, and how does that work?
Yeah, that'll be another one I'll have to look up for you, sorry. My guess would be there would be probably some in getting pulled within the system, but I will look that up for you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your being here.
No problem.
Okay.
No other reports.
No other reports. Okay. Vanessa, you know what I'm going to say, don't you? Oh, thank you for that, and thank you for your big smile. If we could send a letter to everybody confirming a letter, sometimes a letter seems more official, you know, so we send a letter, email, and maybe a call to, and maybe I need to get together with you, and I'll make a call with you. Maybe I'll come to your office or whatever. We can do it, you know, a three-way phone call from to see if we can get some more of the agencies here, and then we can have a more productive meeting with more information back and forth. Thank you, Vanessa.
Well, I would like to, request it for Fish and Wildlife. The next meeting, we have, report on, deer harvest for the year, maybe for the county and the state. And, they also did a lion count for the state. So we'd like information on that and how they did it, how many lions we have in the county. I know it's a rough estimate.
Commissioner Manicola, I think that's extremely important. I think that's it'll be
Yeah.
great information for us to have, and then that gives us somewhere to go too from what we go from here, and maybe what we can spend our money on and what we could do to affect some kind of positive change. And I think that'd be wonderful.
And one more,
Please,
wolf.
Wolf.
They're starting to pop up all over, I think there's 7 attacks now. And I'm curious what the plan is when they come to San Diego County, if and when. It's probably more wind.
Yes.
So, I'd like to see what Fish and Wildlife has to say on that.
Absolutely, Vanessa. And like I say, I'm going to take some ownership of that because I'd like to call whoever there is to call to talk about that because, and then even as far as fishing, what sort of fishing we have in our county and how the fish numbers are, and what sort of development of the fishing opportunities and so forth. I just don't know that we have a good handle on that at this point.
I can send out an email and then we can get together to give them a call.
Thank you. And if you could send an email to the fishing game about those specifics.
Yep.
Okay.
Will do.
You know what? That's kind of an interesting. I heard this expression the other day. Nothing gets dynamic until it gets specific, and maybe for all the different agencies, maybe for the sheriff next time before the meeting, we think of some. Maybe that's something. I'm not giving anybody homework, but maybe they kind of think about before our next meeting. We'll go through the agency list, and there's a number of them. There's 6 or 7 of them. Maybe Sergio has a question for the BLM. He wants to know how many visitors are the park or something. So he mails it into Vanessa, and everybody's sending Vanessa a lot of emails. Vanessa, you're gonna love it. And she can and she can forward those on to the BLM. So BLM says, "Geez, I got to figure out, because I want them to feel a little bit more compulsion to attend, and maybe if they feel like they're responsible for some information, that might help. That'd be great, Marty. Thank you." So if we can be thinking about that, and I'm going to lay something on you, Vanessa, if you can remind us for that, 2 weeks beforehand or whatever to look at a list here and think about questions we have for the California Fish and Wildlife, Bureau of Land Management, Pinnacles National Park, the Fisheries, San Benito County Sheriff's Office, San Benito Water District, any other agencies. That would be very helpful. Anything on your mind, Scott? Commissioner Odessa? Okay, beautiful.
I do.
Okay, lay it on us, Commissioner Crowley.
And I'd like to know the numbers of the bobcat population.
Beautiful.
A little more detail. Where are they?
Beautiful.
I've seen them over here on the side over here, only a few miles from here, but that's the only time I've personally seen one of them. But I would like to know a little more about how they're doing.
San Houston? Yes. Yes.
All right.
We got a lot for your minutes this time. Vanessa, you're going to be glad when we're timed out, aren't you? Okay. That's great, sir. Good idea. Thank you. Okay. From there, that's the agency reports. That's any future agenda items. Does anybody have any future agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move on to adjournment. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Growling, in a second. Commissioner McCullough, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of adjournment? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for being here, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.